We are finally at the last two commandments, but we are going to smush them into one. And I know this has been a long journey. I can't believe my brain has stayed focused for this long because my attention span is that of a goldfish. I'm not insulting myself, it's just mostly true. Anyways, today we're talking about the 9th and the 10th commandment, and they both have to do with this really strange word called coveting. Let's read the commandments, and then we'll talk about what coveting means. I never heard that word before until the Bible. Let's get into it. The 9th commandment is, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. And the 10th commandment is, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife or his male or female servant, his ox or his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So what does this word mean? Like I said before, literally never heard it until the Bible. To covet means to want to have something, or it means to be jealous of something that you don't have. So basically what these verses are saying is, don't be jealous of things that you don't have. Whoa, that's really hard. I think of all the things that I just daily life, right? On Instagram, on just social media in general, YouTube, movies, walking around at school. I see things and I'm like, I want that. That's a cool pair of shoes, right? But God's like, let's not do that. And let's get into the why behind it. So we're going to talk about the verses separately, even though they both have to do with coveting. So the first one we're going to talk about in terms of material. Don't covet things that aren't yours. So don't wish jealously for things that aren't yours. Let's get into why. But first, I have a story of a time that I did this aggressively for a whole year. So when I was in 6th grade, many years ago, and I don't even know how many years, but I'm not that old, so whatever, right? When I was in 6th grade, there was this really cool trend of Osiris's. And they were these big, chunky skate shoes. And I was like, that's it. That's the look. That's the real me, Mom. I want these shoes. I want to be a baller. And she was like, those are the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And they're expensive. No way I'm getting you those. And my little 6th grade heart was shattered. And so she said, you can raise the money yourself and you can get these shoes. And then you can buy them and wear them all over the house and be like, I bought myself these skate shoes. And I was like, okay. So I looked up the price and the pair that I wanted, $80. And little 6th grade unemployed Lindsay was like, a joke. So instead, I sat through all of 6th grade watching my friends slowly get their Osiris's for their birthdays and for Christmas. And I sat there with what did I have? I think I had fake Uggs. But I sat there watching all my friends get these Osiris's, and I never got my own pair, and I wanted them so bad that sometimes it even upset me a little bit to watch my friends walking around with these shoes. And here's a picture of it. They're literally the clunkiest. You would hear people, like you could close your eyes in the hallway and you would hear who had Osiris's because they would be like, dum, dum, dum. They're just really ugly. So I'm gonna be honest, kind of dodged a bullet with that one. But I really wanted them at the time. I thought they were really cool. They were really popular. Please believe me. Okay, thank you. So just the thought of wanting something actually isn't wrong. It's when the thought of wanting something turns into jealousy or anger or even sadness or feeling shame about yourself. All those feelings are not from God, and God does not want us to feel that way. So that's what he means by this verse. Another key part of this verse is that we don't need to treasure material things. There's actually a verse in the Bible that Jesus talked about this idea. Let's read it. So it's Matthew 6:19 through 21, and it says this. Don't store up treasures here on heaven, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be also. So what Jesus is saying in this verse in Matthew is that there's no point in collecting earthly things, that all earthly things eventually come to an end. They're all temporary. They'll rust, they'll break, they'll rip, they'll get dirty. Eventually it won't have the value that it used to have. All earthly things come to an end. But instead it's saying, store your treasures up in heaven. Store what really matters. And what really matters is loving God and loving others. And so that's what we need to be focusing on. Now let's switch over to the 10th commandment. I'm going to read it again in case you already forgot it, because attention span of a goldfish. Anyways, 10th commandment, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So this one is all about people and purpose. The ox and the donkey, they have a duty every day to carry out for those that own them. The male and female servant, they have chores and tasks that need to be completed. And the wife, she has a place where she belongs. She has a family that she loves and takes care of, and that they love her back. So this verse is all about people and purpose. So when it says don't covet these things, what it's really saying is God created you for a specific purpose. He created you as a specific person. I know that right now, there's at least one pair of eyes looking at me. And I'm not in your house teaching you this because that would be incredibly creepy. So I know, but I know you're looking at me, right? You're looking at me and you're listening to these words. Hopefully you're paying attention. And what I'm saying is that behind this pair of eyes, there is a human attached to them. And this human is so special. And this human has a purpose that God created just for them, just for you. Ah, oh my gosh, right? And so if you're wishing, if you're coveting after the idea of being a different person or having a different purpose, you're not living out God's plan for your life. He created you to be you, and I say that all the time. Holy crap, I say it all the time. Because I mean it, and it's true, and it's a hard truth sometimes to believe in. When we see our faults and we see how we mess up and make mistakes, sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. But let me tell you, the God who created you, the God who knew you before you knew yourself, the God who knew you before you were born, the God that knew what color your hair would be when you were born, what color your hair would be when you got older, what color your hair would be when you went through a weird phase and you were like, this is the me, this is the real me, you know? I went through that phase last year. I had pink hair. I thought it was cool though. But anyways, God knows everything about you and he knows the purpose for your life. And he wants you to live that out specifically as you can because no one else can live out the purpose that he created for you. So when it says don't covet people or things, it means be grateful for what you have, right? God gives us all that we need. And we might not see it, right? We might be like, but that iPhone, pretty sweet though. Those Heelys, pretty sweet though. Those irises, not pretty sweet though. But like, you know what I mean? And you might be like, dang, I really wish I was him, or I really wish I was her. I wish I had these things. I wish I could go do this. But take a second, right? List off all the things that you do have. What are you grateful for right now, right? We are so, so fortunate. I'm grateful for all the goofy people in my life, for this church that I can call my family. I'm grateful for who God made me to be, and God knows me in all of my anxieties, and all of my quirks, and all of the weird things that I yell just randomly. I don't have much of a filter, it just bah, bah, bah. God still loves me with my smile and my heart, and he loves you just as much. He loves us both unconditionally. And so don't covet after people or things, right? Think about what we have. Think about how we can be grateful for what we currently have. Think about how incredible God thinks you are. Let me leave you with this one statement. Today, tomorrow, and always needs you to be yourself. You matter so much. I love you. That's all I have.